Welcome to the Tip the Scales podcast, where we discuss running and growing your law firm. I'm your host, Maria Monroy, president and co-founder of LawRank. Today, I am joined by
Tom Bosworth.
So, what did we talk about today?
TikTok.
How not boring your TikTok videos are. We talked about culture. Oh, and Dan Ambrose. I know all of you guys love him so much. He interrupted us.
I had a good time.
Yeah, me too. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
I
you.
hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Tom Bosworth. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yep.
Kinda? You gotta hold the mic.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you never done this before?
Not like with a mic.
Okay, I can tell.
It's weird.
It is.
You have to like hold it there.
It's me
not
too.
normal.
Yeah.
I've done it when it's like on the news and it's like on a thing.
So you're on the news?
Sometimes.
What do you talk about?
Cases.
Criminal?
Civil.
Civil. Give me an example.
A 12-year-old girl was murdered by her dad and girlfriend after being abused for 3 or 4 years and locked in their bedroom and chained to furniture. And it was reported to children and youth like multiple times. And
Where did this happen?
Pennsylvania. They never visited the home, never checked on the girl, even though they were getting reports that she was starved, not missing school, starved,
but
bruised.
who was reporting it?
Teachers, neighbors.
That's crazy. The fuck?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was not the way I thought this would start.
Just bringing a little levity to the world here.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
I think I'm like kind of tired for this.
Let's change the subject.
Yeah. So we're at Mardi Gras and we are recording live. Well, I mean, we always record live, or in person, I guess I should say. So tell us a little bit about you and your firm, and, we'll also talk about how you generate cases.
I am 35. I own my own firm in Philly.
Okay.
And I don't know.
But you try cases, right?
Yeah, I try cases.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you generate them?
Friends. Some of them you know.
Some of them I know.
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
I know you do. Who are wild.
Yeah.
And like TikTok, social media.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute, because I think people are either like part of the camp of like social media works, or there's no fucking way unless you're like top dog or like getting referrals like Bob Simon or something like that. What do you talk about on social media?
I just talk about like informational stuff.
Like what?
Things about about medical malpractice, dangerous products that people should avoid.
And people follow you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though most of your content is legal related and educational?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't like wear a suit most of the time or want to look like a lawyer.
Okay.
Or talk like a lawyer, because I think that's boring. And I also think that people don't want that.
Yeah.
I think people want like a genuine, authentic person. I mean, you have to like know what you're talking about.
Right. Right. I've been liking your posts.
Is that because you wanted me to be on the podcast?
No.
Or you actually like
I was fangirling you.
Okay.
Like I did with Jefferson Fisher a year ago. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm such a fan.
I have like 278,000
followers
TikTok.
on TikTok.
Yeah.
What, and Instagram is
like
not as
8,
big for you?
Yeah, not so much.
So you're more of the TikTok.
Yeah.
And it actually generates good cases.
Yeah, I didn't do it because I thought that it would. I didn't think anyone wanted to listen to what I had to say.
So why'd you do it? That just sounds kind of painful to do something.
Someone was like, you should do a TikTok about medical malpractice. I'm like, that's boring, like, because that's like part of my daily life.
Right.
But I think I did a video. It was like 3 things to do if you go to the pediatrician.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and it was like, number 1, like, make sure you know the plan of care. Number 2, like, don't assume that the same provider you saw at one visit is communicating with the other providers. Number 3, I forget what it was, but that got like 40,000 views, and that was my first video that actually like got anything. And then from there, it just kept kind of growing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. So you don't.
But I also like handle cases too, and like so no judgment from my friends who don't. But like I was trained as a trial lawyer, and I handle those cases myself. So
you might be the first person I interview that is getting cases for more serious TikToks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like I feel like everybody's either posting like very non-legal related stuff. So like Jefferson posts like communication tips, right? Top Dog is like pure fucking entertainment. Who else? Like Jen Gore posts like random stuff about her firm,
How to
or
grow
what
a business.
she's doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, you might be the first person that says to me, like, I actually post videos that I would consider like a little bit more on the boring side.
Yeah.
They're not really like entertaining.
Yeah.
But I could see why. If you're going more in the medical malpractice and it falls more under like health than like car crash.
So you think my videos are boring?
Yes. Yes, I do. No.
You liked them though.
I know. I don't
Did
think
you
they're
like
boring.
the boring ones?
No, they were medical malpractice ones, the ones that I saw.
Okay.
No, I just mean like
they're not like entertainment.
They're not. They're
focused.
They're informational. They're not entertainment.
Yeah.
And I like my belief was always that you had to be like 9 out of 10 videos had to be entertainment, and the 10th would be this is what I do for a living, right? But I think when you go into the medical malpractice and health is something that is so top of mind to some extent for everybody, like everyone is curious, like the pediatrician video, like I would have watched that because I have kids, right? And I would hope one of those is like always be present, like don't leave the kid with the pediatrician. I don't know. That would be like, yeah, I have like Sabina over there saying absolutely because we're moms. She's clapping.
Yeah.
So,
well, I did a video on like when you go to the ER, bring someone with you if you can, so that you have a witness. Because I have so many malpractice cases where the doctor, something terrible happens and the doctor is like, you know, well, this is what happened and it's not in the medical record. It's not documented and it's some bogus excuse or something that I'm pretty sure is made up, but I can't prove it. Whereas if someone's there by their side.
But couldn't that person like, wouldn't like someone claim that person's lying? Like, is it a reliable witness when it's like her husband or
what
it
if
is
they're
or no?
dead, right? So a lot of my cases are someone goes to the ER, let's say they have an aneurysm in their aorta, in their heart. Like I had this case.
Thank you for clarifying.
Some people don't know where.
I appreciate it.
Do you know where the aorta is?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know it's like the biggest artery in the body?
No.
Okay. Well, if it like ruptures, you got a problem.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah. So this guy like died, but his wife was there. And the doctors came in lying about everything that happened. And she was able to come in and testify and say, that's not true. Like, this is actually what happened. But a lot of people don't have that luxury. I mean, you're not going to the hospital thinking I'm going to die.
No.
Or going with your loved one thinking they're going to die. But these are things after the fact that are important.
Isn't that crazy to think about, that we're going to die? Do you ever think about that? You avoid it?
I've never actually considered it, but it's you're freaking me out a little bit. No, wait.
Are you serious?
No,
You're a medical malpractice?
No, I think about it all the time. I think I'm like desensitized to it.
Oh, okay. So
like
you're ready.
I don't like want to die like right now. Like I have kids. Like I love my life, but
for the record, this is
are you like suggesting that? No.
I know. For the record, Tom and I just met.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Zoomed before and chatted before on Instagram.
Yeah.
And via text. And he like ditched my dinner last night. And I'm mad about that. How often do you post?
Like once a day.
And how long does that take you?
Usually like 60. Well, to do the video, I do like 60 seconds.
And you get it on the first try?
Usually.
Wow.
I don't like rehearse.
That's amazing.
I don't like do the rehearsal thing. I also don't like in court. I don't like write my opening statements out or my closing arguments. I just get up and like give them.
Is that common?
I don't know. I don't think so, but it's just, it feels like rehearsed and fake to me when I write stuff down. I know a lot of lawyers that are awesome that do it, but it like gets me out of the like moment. But
do you do an outline at least?
I have like
talking points,
big points that I know I want to hit, and maybe I'll write them on a piece of paper.
It's like how I don't prep for podcasts. And then this is why we end up bantering. Yeah. So it takes you 60 seconds to record it, and then I assume you do it from your phone.
Yeah.
And then you use something for the captions, or you do them within TikTok?
Wait, what can you use for captions? Are there like apps and
like
stuff?
An app, yeah.
I'm the most technologically ignorant
Do you
person.
do captions?
Like sometimes I do them, sometimes I forget to do them, and then I get heat when I don't do
You
them.
do?
Yeah,
From who?
like people who can't like hear.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That sucks.
But I don't like do any like editing like other than myself. I think I probably should.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we need to find you someone.
Do you know anyone?
No, but it's just put an Indeed ad. That's how I found my videographer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not difficult.
Okay.
But I mean, if it's only taking you 10 minutes a day,
Yeah.
I don't even think you need a full-time person.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
not that time consuming.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're pretty low maintenance. Like I'm pretty high maintenance, so like I would need somebody to help me.
Like with videos or in general?
Well, both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So okay, and tell me a little bit about your firm. How big is your firm? Like,
So there's 3 lawyers. We're less than 2 years old.
wow.
And 7 or 8 staff.
Okay.
So
You started 2 years ago,
yeah,
and
November 2022.
what have you learned in the past 2 years
Um,
about running a law firm? Nothing.
No, I'm thinking.
It's just come really easy to you.
I think that we're like at a point where there's like a separation in the legal field between like the young guard and the old guard.
Yes.
And I think that that's at an all-time high. I think the tension there, and I can only speak to like where I'm at in Philly.
Yeah.
But I do think it's everywhere. I think like if you go back in time and you look at when TV became a thing for lawyers to advertise on, the initial reaction by lawyers was like to snub their nose at it and like, oh, I'm too good for TV. I'm a lawyer. I'm not gonna be on TV.
A lot of lawyers still feel that way.
Right. But then it boomed. And then people like John Morgan and other people that got in early excelled. And I think social media is that new thing, that new taboo. Whereas there are lawyers and law firms who got big and got successful when the yellow pages were a thing. I'm not faulting them.
Yeah.
But I think those firms are either embracing the change or they're mad about it because they don't understand it. So that I think I've learned that, and I'm just trying to like push the envelope forward. Not only in that, but also like law firm culture and like what it's like to be in a law firm. Have you ever worked in a law firm or
No?
That's good.
No, but I mean,
There's like this.
I have so much exposure, and I definitely see like the different types of cultures at firms. Like there are lawyers that still think like, let me do a pep talk with my team and yell at them, and then that's gonna fix things.
Exactly.
And it's like, that's like very old school. Like, I think you have to get to know your employees, and I think you have to care about your employees.
Exactly. And so many law firms are like stodgy and stuffy.
What happened? Yeah.
And it's that like stressful, tense. Like I at former jobs, not my firm, but like I knew lawyers who would work with a paralegal that was their paralegal, and they wouldn't even speak to them. Like they would walk right by them and go to work like as if they weren't there. Like I don't know. I just wasn't raised
human,
like that.
though.
No, it's not even like you're not even being a person, but that's common in like the law firm space. So
it's just such a stressful environment. Like I don't know if you've ever gone to Reddit. There's a lawyer subreddit, and you can read all sorts of posts from people there.
Lots of drama.
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of unhappiness, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of associates that are just really unhappy at their firms.
Well, I also think like to go back to like the new guard versus the old guard.
Yeah.
I think the new guard, the younger lawyers are a lot more open to sharing information and not being territorial and like cutthroat and not operating from a scarcity mindset of, oh my God, we have to hoard all these cases or be so competitive that we're like treating people like crap, our like colleagues. Whereas I think the younger generation is more collaborative and understands like that's not really the way to be.
Yeah, I agree. And like you see it, like look at what Bob Simon, the community that he's built, right?
Exactly.
Like you see that where he knows that there is enough for everyone, like, and I live that in my space, right? Like I'm really good friends with a lot of my competitors, and some people just don't understand why. I'm like, because there's enough room for everyone. And who else knows what I'm going through better than my competitors?
Right.
Like, nobody else understands the day to day, right? So, yeah, I totally agree with that mindset. And I'm glad that it's changing. I think social media, I know everybody always talks about the bad of social media, but that's, I think, part of the good.
Definitely. Yeah, I think social media gets a bad rap for good reasons.
Yeah.
But
I'm addicted.
like, yeah. But like, they actually just ruled that like people can sue TikTok for like those crazy stunts that people recommend for
Yeah.
kids. And actually, my buddy was involved in that case and getting that, like having the first court decision to say,
Oh, wow.
because forever they had this like ancient law in Congress that shielded TikTok and social media companies from liability for stuff like that. But now they've basically said like when you're a social media app like that, like the algorithm you create
Right.
is itself a product. And like the ingredients that go into like pushing out that information to like, let's say a 12-year-old kid
Yeah.
about a stunt where you like put a thing around your neck or something, whatever those like
Yeah.
crazy things they're doing. So they're now like, there are going to be a lot more cases against them for that type of stuff, which is
Yeah,
which
that
is
is
good.
good. I mean, I do think there's so much responsibility that these apps should have. You know, I'm petrified of my kids getting on social.
Same, yeah.
Like, literally, like, I lose sleep over it.
Yeah.
Like, they're gonna hate me because I'm just not going to let them. Like, you know, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I haven't, I don't know how I'm gonna navigate that. We're not there just yet, but
But I think like to your point about the good of social media, a lot of my videos I think are informational.
right.
They're second hand to me. Like I know this stuff like the back of my hand, but that's only because I'm doing these cases where I get to peek behind the curtain of a huge corporation like Monsanto and
Right.
find memos where they're writing things to each other like, we know that this product causes cancer, but oh well. Like I think
Crazy to me.
people think that that's like in the movies, but it actually happens. So I think when you start telling people that and it can be broadcast to a large amount of people, I think that's a good thing. I think that more information is better for people, and I think that people want that information.
Absolutely. So, you know, my kids like junk food, and I don't have junk food at home. We don't really let them ever have junk food, but they've tasted it before, right? Like Cheetos or
Yeah.
potato chips. And one day they were really pressing on like why we don't let them eat this stuff regularly. And my husband was like, okay, we're going to watch Blackwater just so you see what the world is
Oh,
like
it's a
out
good
there.
idea. Then.
And he did.
Yeah.
He made them watch Blackwater. And every time they kind of start going down this path again, he's like, you guys want to watch a movie again? Like,
That's the goal.
this is just the world, the reality of the world that we live in, right? So, and I think even like, I don't know if you saw how, I don't know who just went to the Senate to talk about the food quality, like processed food, US processed food versus even Canadian processed food.
Oh, is there a difference?
There's a huge difference in what, because the US allows all this crap that Europe doesn't allow, Canada doesn't allow. So they went to the Senate, and social media supposedly, like, you could see the clips being like published and a lot of people heard of it, but then eventually supposedly social, like, the platforms weren't letting the videos show
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not. That's what they claimed. But I think there's, my point, sorry, was like there's so much more awareness now. And I think people are starting to, after COVID, like become a little bit more open to the idea that there is a lot of shit that happens.
Oh, definitely. I think
Right?
I've seen that like post COVID with juries.
Really?
Because I think one of the biggest hurdles you have as a medical malpractice lawyer, if you represent the patient, is this inherent trust of doctors in the healthcare system that a lot of people have. And I think COVID, I don't want to say eviscerated that, but COVID made people really like, I think, question that. Not saying doctors are bad or that they mean to do harm, but I think that we emerged from COVID with an understanding that like healthcare is a business. Healthcare is a business.
It's a business.
It's like in America in particular, it's run by insurance companies and it's a kind of a nightmare. So I think that there's a lot of awareness that's come out of COVID around that. and all the stuff
Absolutely.
like you talked about.
Yeah. What kind of cases do you handle, like specifically?
A lot of medical malpractice. I have toxic tort cases.
Okay.
So I represent a group of kids right now against Monsanto and GE because it was actually the town I grew up in, where there was a huge General Electric plant. It was like the biggest manufacturing plant GE had from about 1920 to 1960. And they took polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, a known toxic chemical that even our country banned as far back as 1979. So that's got to be pretty bad if America cut it loose. And actually, Nick Rowley, as we speak, is involved, and Courtney, I think, are involved in a PCB trial in Washington. But basically, GE polluted this river I grew up next to with PCBs. Estimates being 1 to 2 million pounds over a span of about 50 years. And then I'm actually going to get somewhere with this. They got caught. They dredged the river, took the soil, sold it to the town to use to build an elementary school.
What?
But didn't tell the town that the soil was contaminated with PCBs. So the town bought the soil and built an elementary school. And now there's a huge incidence of astrocytomas, which are a type of brain tumor, and childhood leukemia. So I represent 20 or 30 folks who went to that school and now have leukemia or blood cancer or brain tumors. And
is the school shut down?
No, it's open.
Do they know?
They all know.
And do they just not have another choice? Like, I don't want to be insensitive.
No. It's like, it's a small rural area in Western Massachusetts where, like, I don't know how to say this. Like, people have become so accustomed to that history being a part of their life that there's almost this like community denial. And like, if it were my kid, like, I would not only rip them out of the school, but I would like go like tear the school down. But there's like this complicit kind of like thing going on there. But anyway, Monsanto makes...
I'm in shock right now. Like,
Monsanto makes that chemical, by the way. That's why they're in the case. So they made PCBs.
So it's funny. A few days ago, I was listening to one of Huberman's newest podcasts about microplastics and how they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And I just think all of you should go listen to it because it's really scary. Yeah. So it reminds me of that. Like, they're literally in everything. And
I have cases right now with in Pennsylvania against this German medical device company that, in a really sad, ironic way, they make like IV catheters and IV tubes for like chemotherapy, but they use a known carcinogen gas called ethylene oxide. I'm not here to like make anyone feel bad, but you were talking about like how like the regulations are more strict in like Canada with food. And it made me think of that, like, because with the emissions here, they're emitting this gas that's a known carcinogen. There's kids there, there's schools, there's churches, there's neighborhoods, there's parks. They've been doing it for like 30 years. And in like Europe, you can't use this chemical. Like, you can't even use it. And so there's this huge uptick in cancer in this circle around that plant. And I represent folks in that group.
And how do you get these cases? Like, this is through referrals or through TikTok?
So it started out with like a core group of referral lawyers who I'm really close friends with, who trust me, and they don't handle these cases themselves, but they sometimes get them.
And you're pretty young.
I appreciate you saying
these
that.
cases, though. Like, that's really impressive.
Yeah. So
yeah, congrats.
Thanks.
That's
so
awesome.
I was the first lawyer to file the ones in Pennsylvania against the medical device company. But now I've gotten more from social media, but it started with kind of a referral network.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's so cool that you can get some from social media. Do you talk about these cases on social, or are you not allowed to?
Oh, I talk about them all the time.
Really?
I get in like pretty big disputes on social media with companies that I talk about openly. Like, I've had court battles with them about it. Yeah.
But are there rules, like, while you are handling a case, like pre-settlement or pre-verdict, how much you can talk about? Like, I guess you can talk about anything that's public knowledge, I would assume, right? Or no?
Yeah. So there's a rule of professional conduct for lawyers, 3.6. Basically, every state has a rule 3.6, and it governs what you're talking about, which is like what you can and can't say about an ongoing case. And basically anything that's of public record. So a hearing, a court proceeding, or something filed in a case.
Then you can talk about
fair
that.
game.
It's just not like discovery. You probably can't talk about that. Or can you?
Well, it's gray because sometimes discovery materials become part of the record.
Got it. So
and I've been in a fight about this. I had a case where a gentleman died from an aortic aneurysm rupture. I was telling you about this, and I thought it was a regular old medical case. And then we go to take the testimony of the radiologist at University of Pennsylvania Health System, which is like the most prestigious, well-known, medical place in Philly. And the doctor tells me, we've been massively understaffed for years. Our radiology department's massively understaffed. And this is a health system that has like a $17 billion endowment. So call me old fashioned, but I was like, I don't know why you guys are understaffed.
And what did they say?
They made up some thing about how it's so hard to hire radiologists, but it's weird. It's like they're like the
really
best health system in the world. So like if you were a radiologist, like and like Penn called you, you'd be like,
yes, of course.
yeah, it's not like you're like a crappy, like, you know what I mean?
That's crazy.
So I talked about that online.
Oh,
and then Penn filed a motion against me in court, asking a judge to order me to remove the video, saying it violated the rule 3.6 on what you can and can't say.
I'm going to pay more attention to your videos. They don't sound boring at all.
And
I take it back.
Oh, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Can we keep that in?
Yes, we can keep that in.
With a take back part? No.
Yes, let's keep that in.
But yeah, and I won it. I went in front of a judge and I said, basically, like, there's this pesky old amendment called the First Amendment. And it's like, it's just pretty simple. It's called freedom of speech. And I didn't say anything that violates the ethical rules. This is all part of the public record. Because to your point, they were like, oh, but this is, because I was citing deposition testimony in my video, like verbatim, like the doctor said X, the doctor said Y, all true. I wasn't like.
But our deposition, and excuse my ignorance, because I'm not alert. Are depositions part of the public record?
Not unless they get filed and as a part of some other motion. So like if you just do it.
Did you do that?
Yes.
Have you filed it?
Yes.
Okay, so then they were public records.
Exactly.
Okay,
but they were like ignoring that whole fact and just saying, Judge, they're depositions. And I said, yeah, but they've been on the docket and publicly available for months now. So
like in theory, I could have read that.
Right.
And I could have posted a video.
I mean, I don't know if you'd be like on the dockets. Like you seem kind of busy. Like you have other stuff to do.
Like,
but yeah.
Are you just saying that I couldn't read a legal document? Because I really couldn't.
I mean, you do. You read like slides or legal documents. Like the PowerPoint we just looked at.
That's not a legal document. Is there anything you're really good at? I mean, I know trying cases, clearly, but besides that, or really passionate about?
I am really passionate about, this is going to sound cliche, but like equality and diversity in the legal profession.
Okay.
I know it sounds cliche because it's like a buzzword. But
how do you like execute on that?
Well, I think there's been this like hyper fixation on like DEI, which is
that?
Like diversity, equity, inclusion, like being fair to everybody.
Yeah.
Which is good. But I think that law firms, from my observation, have done a poor job at like actually giving people fair opportunities to excel and like be leaders in the firm. Like they just want to check a box and say, oh, we have X amount of people here that are diverse or whatever. Right. And I think that's a big problem throughout the field. I think that like it's really a big deal because there's a difference between checking a box versus giving someone like the same pathway as the person next to them to actually like succeed and be given like responsibility and be a leader. Yeah. I think that's a really important issue in the field, which I don't.
How are you contributing to fixing the issue though?
By prioritizing giving people like actually their same opportunities.
Okay.
And
so what's like at your firm, do you have female lawyers?
I do.
Okay.
Yep.
That's amazing.
I mean, there are like corporate clients I don't represent corporations, but like, for example, I know like Target, I have a friend or colleague that does defense for Target. So they defend Target, and I know that Target requires law firms that they hire to have a certain percentage of lawyers at their firm who are diverse.
That's amazing.
It is. It's great. But the law firm, there's a separate issue of like the check in the box thing. Like I don't think it's enough to just say like, oh, we have this many people here who are diverse. Like, what are you actually doing in your firm on a daily basis to like allow people to succeed and excel and not just be a number?
I just think it's two different worlds, in my opinion. Like, completely two different worlds.
Yeah.
The newer generation, the older generation. That's why I love LawRank, because it's such a young community.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes you go to like, nothing against AAJ, it's great, but like, I don't know anyone.
Yeah.
I'm like, who are you guys? Like, I don't know. It's just a different vibe.
Well, I do like videos on boomer lawyers.
Do you?
Like
Your
impersonation.
videos are not boring at all.
Like I got in some heat from my boomer lawyer videos.
Oh, we're gonna have to do a reel and pull it up.
From boomers. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you say on these?
Like,
yeah, give us an example. Do it right now.
Okay, so like older lawyers who like they like think because they've been around longer that they're like superior. So like a lot of times in depositions, like you'll be doing your questioning, and the older lawyer will be like, trying to object and get in like your way and throw you off, and they'll go like, hold on, Tom. Hold on, Tom. I've given you plenty of leeway here, but we're gonna have to shut this down if you keep this up. And like, just like patronizing, like.
What would you do?
What do you mean?
Instead of doing that, how would you handle it?
I'll make a joke or something. Make them feel uncomfortable.
Do you think that younger lawyers are more likable? You're like, no.
Not really. Not necessarily.
No. I think they are.
Really? I mean, probably.
But then I also like pick who I like.
There are
like
older,
I hang out around lawyers that I like, I guess.
Like there are older lawyers I love who are likable. But I think.
But in trial. No? They're just all unlikable? No, I'm just kidding. I think a lot of lawyers are likable. It's funny because I always there are people that just hate working with lawyers so much. Oh my God, so many people.
I didn't grow up around lawyers.
I really like lawyers.
Do you really?
Yeah, I really do.
You married one.
I did. I mean, he's not really a lawyer though. Like he's never practiced.
He's not really a lawyer.
He's not really a lawyer.
No.
He also married people.
Yeah, I also married him before he was a lawyer.
That's good.
Yeah.
In law school?
Before law school.
In college?
No, he's old. I have daddy issues.
He's old.
Cut that.
Don't cut that. Huh?
I just want to know one thing. Did you know that he wanted to be a lawyer at the time that you started dating him?
And when he went, he didn't even take the bar. He never even practiced. I think he went to law school for shits and giggles. He was like 40 when he went to law school.
Are your parents lawyers?
Both of our parents are lawyers. All 4 parents.
You're kidding?
No.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
What was your breakfast table like?
No, actually, neither practiced. Well, I didn't grow up with my dad, so I don't really know him.
Okay.
And my mom never practiced.
So what did she do?
She was a stay-at-home mom.
Is this turning into like a psychoanalysis?
Yeah, but it's fine. I think our followers. Huh? Yeah, and then so my husband's parents, they both practiced initially, and then his mom, when they moved here, didn't practice anymore. She taught at UF.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gainesville.
Yeah, and I think at some point she taught Spanish to law students,
cool.
a specific.
That's awesome.
And his dad is to this day a lawyer in Chile. But my husband is like the 13th generation lawyer. Like there's 13 generations from his dad all the
impressive.
way in Chile.
Wild.
Yeah, and he has 2 brothers that are lawyers, one in the U.S. and one in Chile.
Wow.
Yeah.
My dad was a cop.
That's awesome. He must have some cool stories.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And my brother's a cop too.
Yeah. And I always thought I'd be a lawyer.
Really?
Yeah.
Why didn't you?
Life. Yeah. Children. Life. I never finished college either. And then we started. Yeah. Yeah. I did community college and then I never finished. Yeah. And then we started
You're
this.
still a baller.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm no complaints. But that's why when it's like, oh, should I go to law school? It's like, well, I'd have to get a degree first, unless I did like an unaccredited law school. Because I think Dordick actually did that, where he didn't even go to college. I think he went straight to law school. I could be wrong. Yeah, he went to unaccredited
That's
law
wild.
school.
That's really cool.
We might want to fact check this from my previous interview with Dordick, because I don't know if I think he confirmed it on the interview. So did Mauro.
Really?
Yeah, unaccredited. They went to the same law school, I think.
I think like the lawyers that I know that are really good at being in a courtroom or successful, for the most part, are not people who were traditionally like good students in college.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't know. It's a different skill set. Like,
well,
I think
it's critical thinking, and it's not taught in school. Like, I actually think school is like teaching you the complete opposite. Like how to be like a good soldier.
Exactly.
Like let's stand in line and sit down.
Follow the rules.
Follow the rules. Be good. Like.
That's why I actually liked law school.
Because it teaches you to think critically.
Well, yeah, like there's no right or wrong answer. It's like, well, what do you think about this, and how can you tell me why are you right about this?
See,
and
for
I think that freaked out people that got like 4.0s in college and were like in the honor society. No offense if you were, but like they're like, what's the right answer? And it's like there isn't one. It's like you're here to be a lawyer. You're here to learn how to advocate.
Right.
And they're like searching for like where's the cheat sheet? So I actually like was more comfortable in that setting than college.
That makes sense.
Well, I was just actually partying in college, to be honest. So.
Yeah, I never liked school. Like,
really?
No. If I tried, I would get straight A's, but I tried once and then never tried again. It was just not something I enjoyed. It was like, I didn't like fail or anything. Like I got through it.
No judgment.
But I don't know that I would even like law school just because I'm really bad at reading comp.
At what?
Reading comprehension.
Really?
And writing and all that. And I think that would really like.
You're more of a people person?
Yeah, like I would do great on so when my husband was studying for the LSAT, I would do logic games and I would do better than him with no training. Like I'm really good at logic games.
I wasn't good at those.
They're the most fun.
I sucked at those.
They're amazing. Like,
really?
I could do logic games for fun all day. But it's the reading comp that I'm like horrible at because English is my second language.
Your friend's here.
Oh.
Oh.
Crash it, Dan. Come say hi, Dan.
I hope you don't edit this out of the interview. It'd be hurtful.
Oh, we're definitely.
We need to do stuff live, so it can't be cut out. It just changes the game if you cut me out.
Okay, well, I'm definitely going to edit this out.
It's just kind of weird that I haven't been invited to speak at TLU. I'm
not
mad about it or anything.
Like what?
About it.
I'm not like.
Can we
pissed.
talk about this? When are you going to invite him to speak at TLU?
Well, before somebody can speak at TLU, there's a lot of like pre-qualifications.
Oh, they have to work for free. I forget about that.
Yes. They have to do
honestly,
like indentured servitude or
dude, Dan Ambrose has the best system. He has lawyers work for free for him.
You know what?
It's amazing.
It's all about persuasion.
I agree.
I know. It's amazing. These people just working for free. Everybody's working for free. I like that.
Except you.
Except me. That is correct.
Now, can we get him to speak?
It's possible, but, have you done any webinars?
No.
Well, then that's the thing. You have to do at least 3 webinars.
Okay.
Nobody knows who you are.
Oh, no, people know who he is.
People know who he is, like sitting on this couch. People know who he is in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But do people know who he is in Indiana, California, in Nevada?
Do they know who you are?
Maybe they do.
His friend Brian knows me.
Yes, my friend Brian knows you. Yes, tell us about Brian.
Yeah, so, by the way, I love Brian Canish, for the record.
I'd like to have him on.
One of the
I don't know if
greatest
it's gonna hurt my
trial
chances.
lawyers in the whole world.
He's one of the greatest, not just trial lawyers, but like...
I get that vibe from him, and I haven't even met him. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's wrap up. That was fun with Mr. Ambrose. We all like him so much. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. This was fun.
Yeah, it was great.
You're very fun. Yeah,
not boring.
No.
Okay, good.
No, not at all. I can't imagine.
As long as I'm not boring, then I'm good.
I'm like having a hard time actually imagining you serious in court. Thank you so much to Tom for everything he shared with us today. If you found this story valuable, please share it with someone you want to see succeed. Subscribe so you never miss an episode and leave a 5-star review. It goes a long way to help others discover the show.